Hey guys, it's me, Rich. James Carville just dropped what sounds less like analysis and more like a threat on Trump, and your gut will tell you exactly what it is the moment you hear it. In this video, you'll see the so-called Raging Cajun unload a fiery monologue predicting Donald Trump's political collapse, complete with legal avalanches, DC statehood schemes, court packing, and a resignation scenario. But what you'll find out if you stick with me till the end of this is that Carville's promises and political reality has a really big gap, a ginormous gap. And the real story isn't Trump's future. It's what Carville's intensity tells us about his side. They're panicking. Let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to RPW Media, where we cut through all the noise, ignore the spin, and tell you exactly what's going on in plain English. They called it vulgate. Look, if you like our videos already and you haven't done so, you should become a subscriber to the channel. You can hit the notification bell and smack that like button because it'll help us get our message out to more people, and you'll be notified every time we put out a new video. And thank you. All right, let's talk about what James Carville recently did on a podcast video, because this is not just some angry old man venting on a podcast. This is James Carville, the guy they call the Raging Cajun, delivering what can only be described as part political prediction, part warning shot, and part fever dream. In a recent fiery monologue, Carville goes after Donald Trump with the level of intensity that goes well beyond normal political commentary. Okay, so here's where it starts off. He's not nibbling around the edges, guys. He's talking there's going to be investigations, isolationism, resignation deals, court packing, new states created for the Democrats, the whole buffet. Give this a watch, though, how he begins it.
Hey, Trump, I'm going to tell you fat fucking ass something. You're getting ready to get the living crap kicked out of you. You don't know because they haven't really told you. And let me tell you something. They're going to start breaking the news to you kind of gently.
I think that the Raging Cajun must have missed all those segments of CNN's Harry Enton, where he goes out and tells everybody that Trump and the Republicans are pouncing the Democrats in the polls, including with independents. And I think that is the reason why the Raging Cajun is doing this video.
And you're going to sit there and wonder what it feels like to be punched in the mouth by Mike Tyson. But you won't know, because it's quite one thing to imagine what it's like to get punched in the mouth by Mike Tyson.
I'll tell you what, James, I could guarantee that you would be punched in the mouth by Mike Tyson before Donald Trump ever does, because he's friends with Mike Tyson and you're not.
It's another thing to actually get punched in the mouth by Mike Tyson. And that's what's going to happen to you in November.
I mean, that's a colorful line, isn't it, to start it out? I mean, credit where it's due. The man knows how to turn a phrase, but let's think about what he's actually selling here. He's not offering analysis. He's manufacturing a sense of inevitability, a feeling that the outcome is already decided, that the only thing left is for everyone to just accept it. It's going to happen. I mean, this is a psychological tactic, guys, not a policy argument. If you can convince people that a political figure is already finished and washed up, then you can make them behave as if he is. But the problem is these people don't know the American people. Think about it. They threw lawfare case after lawfare case. They tried to make him look like a rapist, a sexual assaulter, but they had to change laws in New York to do that, right? They tried to make him look like he stole money, that he used money from his campaign to pay off a porn star for having an affair with him or something like that, right? They tried to say that he took classified documents illegally when he was the president of the United States, who was the only one that has the right to take them over anybody else. I mean, think about it. None of that worked. He still won. All right, so let's walk through the specific predictions that Carville makes, because some of them are genuinely worth unpacking and some of them deserve a raised eyebrow. First is political isolationism.
Now, let me tell you let's talk about your future, your post-November future. First, people are not going to return your phone calls. They're going to correctly think you yesterday. Yeah, they'll say, well, he's got 2 years left. He can do damage. No one gives a shit about him. The Democrats are going to investigate you to no end.
Yeah, they're going to do investigations like they did with all the lawfare. It's going to be based on nothing wrong that Trump did. Mark my words. I mean, guys, this is classic pressure messaging. Politicians do this all the time. You don't just attack your opponent's policies, you attack the perception of their viability. Because in politics, looking like a loser is almost as damaging as actually losing. Now, here's where I'd pump the brakes a little. We've heard this story before, multiple times, and Donald Trump has a rather annoying habit, at least if you're James Carville, of surviving things that were supposed to be politically fatal. And that's specifically because everything the Democrats have thrown at him so far is total bullshit. All right, so here is Carville talking about how after the midterms, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck U. Schumer are going to head down to the White House and they're going to start attacking him. Give it a watch.
Oh, and Congressman Jeffries and Senator Schumer, they're going to go down to the White House on November 10th, and then you're going to have some stiff photo of them sitting there talking about collegiality and cooperation. Believe that bullshit. Then they're going to start going after you.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're going to start figuring out where all the money stolen is. Then they're going to go
wait a minute. Did he just say money stolen? He just said they're going to figure out where all the money stolen is. As if Donald Trump and his administration stole any money. You see, this is to get the crazies in their party riled up because they didn't like the fact that Donald Trump has exposed all of the fraud going on in Democrat blue cities like Minneapolis, Los Angeles, other parts of California, New York City, and Chicago, right? What about the amount of fraud that was discovered during the Doge phase at the beginning of this administration? So on Facebook and other forums, you have Democrats that do what they always do. They project everything that they do onto their political enemies. And that's what they're doing right now. So now a bunch of them are on there saying that Donald Trump stole money when everybody knows that it's nonsense. But Trump is the one catching the thieves. And it's so far as purely Democrats. Carville is trying to send a message to those crazies who believe that if they're going to go after them, they're going to go after them for that. This is nothing but a pitch to get Democrats riled up to vote. And I'll get into it in a little bit, but this is why he's doing it, because he knows that they might lose the midterms, which are supposed to be a lock for his party. Let's continue.
Then they're going to go after you stupid jackass kids. And
you hear this? We're going to go after you stupid jackass kids. All right. Now, this is because a lot of crazy Democrats are upset that Hunter Biden was called into question and investigated because he committed crimes when he was working overseas. OK, they took tons of cash selling his father's influence. Right. He was influence peddling and they made millions of dollars with it. But Trump's kids, my goodness, they're like squeaky clean. They have committed no crimes. They're businessmen, and they really support their father, unlike Hunter.
Their spouses and all other bullshit.
So you're saying that the wives of who? J.D. Vance? You're saying that Melania Trump is a criminal that needs to be investigated? Are you kidding me?
Shit that you see. And they're going to investigate the shit out of you.
Yeah, they're going to investigate the shit out of you because they want to turn Trump's last 2 years into turmoil for him. But you know what? This is Trump 2.0. All right. He went through that crap the first time around. It's not going to faze him this time like it didn't the last time. But remember, it's 2.0. He's more fierce. OK, so Carville now pivots and he's talking about Trump committing war crimes. Give us a watch.
And then when it comes to this stuff you're doing in Iran, I got to tell you, you're getting really, really, really close to war crimes here.
How is that? You see how he's saying you're getting close because he can't say that he committed war crimes, but all the goofy bastards that watch him, his target audience, the Democrats, like they really believe he committed war crimes. I mean, think about it. The reason he's saying this is because the Democrats are not very bright people, all right? It's his target audience. Well, they think that because Trump posted on Truth Social that civilization will end if the Iranian regime didn't surrender and give up the Strait of Hormuz, that it was somehow a war crime. That's what they believe. Okay. And so James has to play to that. All right. Now, James knows darn right well that if an enemy combatant, this is international law. If an enemy combatant is using a bridge or a power station to commit war acts, they are perfectly legitimate targets. During World War II, we did this all the time. We blew up bridges, power stations all the time. The Raging Cajun knows that, but the stupid idiots that he's talking to have no clue because you can read all their posts online. They truly are clueless. They think that saying that civilization will end is a war crime.
You're probably going to cross the line.
Probably,
one
right?
thing that Democrats are going to insist on in the 2028 election is that if you're indicted by the international courts...
Here we go. See, he's bringing up international courts if you're indicted. Now, was that a dog whistle to the globalists in the international courts? Was it? We don't even recognize them.
In The Hague, or Hague, or somewhere in the Netherlands. We're going to protect your ass.
He doesn't need your protection. Let's be honest, guys. If the Democrats do take over the Congress after the midterms, and they could, they will charge him with war crimes for something that isn't even a war crime. We know that because he was impeached on things they said he did that was not impeachable. They started investigations on the Russian collusion hoax, knowing that it was all crap. They knew all along it was crap. Things like playing by the rules and going through the regulations and common decency, that doesn't apply to Democrats. They don't believe in that. Then Carville pivots to something more structural. And this is where the conversation gets genuinely interesting, where the Raging Cajun starts talking about usual Democratic pablum to get people to vote for them. But in reality, what he says next points to the utterly disgusting mindset of the modern Democratic Party. He raises the idea of making Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico states. This would add seats to the Senate, you see, and both of them would be Democrats, right? Shifting the balance of power in Congress. And then almost casually, he floats court packing. He says he wants to add 4 more justices to make it 13 instead of 9. Adding justices to the Supreme Court so that Democrats can reshape the bench. That's basically what he wants to do. He frames these as if they're part of an inevitable chain of events. And he expresses them as if it's the right thing to do and not an avenue that Democrats always take, which is to rig every and any system that they're involved in. If you look at the overwhelming majority of Democrat bills presented to Congress and you read the fine print, you'll see that they always have something in there that makes their party more powerful and you, the people, have less rights. The Democrats love a rigged system. Now, here's the problem with that framing. Somebody has to tell the Raging Cajun. None of this happens automatically. None of what he predicted. Admitting new states requires Congress to pass legislation and a presidential signature. Packing the court requires the same. And right now, right this very moment, the president is Donald Trump. So the idea that this agenda just rolls forward while he's sitting in the Oval Office doesn't hold up for 5 seconds of scrutiny. And on the D.C. statehood question specifically, he is catering once again to the extra chromosomes section of the Democrat voters. There's a constitutional issue that Carville breezes right past. The Capitol was deliberately designed as a federal district, not a state. The whole point was to create a neutral seat of government that doesn't belong to any single state and doesn't have its own political interests in federal outcomes. That's what a district is. They define it in the Constitution. Turning it into a state would fundamentally undermine that design. It's not a partisan talking point, guys. It's just constitutional history. So the Democrats will say, well, we'll just create a new district and we'll turn Washington, D.C. into a state. Yeah, because it's 100% Democrat. That's why. They just want to rig any system. Now, let's talk about the legal angle, because Carville spends a lot of time there, too. Congressional investigations, civil lawsuits, and hold on to your hat, international legal consequences. Really? He suggests that actions tied to foreign policy decisions could face scrutiny under global legal standards that we don't even recognize. Let's be honest about what this really is. It's not analysis at all. It's a threat language dressed up as a prediction. And he's not saying this because things will happen under specific circumstances. He's saying it because they will happen. That's what he's saying. They will happen, that they're coming, that they're inevitable. And this is where the tone shifts from commentary into something that sounds more like a campaign rally. Just one that happens to be wearing a pundit's blazer. Here's what's worth noting about the Republican angle that Carville tries to work in. He argues that the GOP senators may eventually turn on Trump if they believe he's no longer politically viable. That loyalty has a price tag, that if Trump starts looking like a losing bet, the calculation changes. That's what he's saying. This isn't entirely wrong as a general political observation, but politicians do tend to distance themselves from damaged brands. It's not cynicism, it's just how the game works. But here's the part that Carville glosses over. Conviction in the Senate requires 2/3 of the chamber. That's 67 votes. Right now, the math simply doesn't exist. You can speculate all day about senators privately reconsidering their loyalty, but you still need 67 votes on the board before any of that speculation means anything at all. These numbers don't appear out of thin air because a pundit declares the winds are shifting. And then the dramatic finale. Carville raised the possibility of Trump resigning from office due to shame. He doesn't know Trump. He suggests Trump could eventually choose to step down rather than face mounting pressure. Maybe with some kind of deal, possibly involving pardons. Although Carville was quick to point out that state-level charges, civil cases, and international legal exposure would remain beyond the reach of any federal pardon. Well, notice the framing, though. Not, this could happen under these conditions, not some legal analysts believe, just that this will happen, it's coming, brace yourself. When someone presents speculation as prophecy this confidently, your internal alarm should be going off. Right, so let's just zoom out and see the full picture for a minute. Carville isn't doing journalism. He's certainly not doing neutral analysis. What he is doing is political messaging, and he's doing it loudly with a specific purpose. He wants to energize a Democratic base heading into an election. He wants to create the impression that the game is already over, that Republicans should feel demoralized and Democrats should feel momentum, except it's not there. That is a legitimate political strategy, by the way. Campaigns do it all the time. The problem is when it gets packaged as sober commentary rather than what it actually is, a pep talk disguised as a prediction. And the real giveaway is the intensity itself. All the F-bombs he's thrown, all the other curses he's thrown out there, they focus tested that. They think guys react to somebody throws an F-bomb. If the outcome were truly guaranteed, if Trump's collapse were actually inevitable and the math was already baked in, you wouldn't need James Carville on television screaming about it. When they call Carville, it means they're panicking. You just wait for it to happen. The fact that so much effort is going into making this feel certain is the clearest possible sign that nothing about it actually is. So the bottom line is, James Carville is a smart, experienced political operative. He got the Clintons elected. He knows exactly what he's doing. He's trying to set a narrative that shifts behavior before events actually unfold. And whether you're a Democrat cheering him on or a conservative rolling your eyes, the honest takeaway is the same. Pay attention to what the rhetoric is designed to do, not just what it says. But the good news, the American system, frustrating as it sometimes is, doesn't run on cable news or on podcast monologues. It runs on votes, on legislation, on constitutional processes, on results, and on the genuine choices of real people. No amount of heavyweight metaphors changes that. And that's actually kind of reassuring. All right, so guys, tell me what you think about this in the comments below. I love hearing from you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.